This is the Frank and Friends Show. Hi there, I'm Frank Murphy.
And I'm Natalee Elkins.
And I'm Lillee Elkins.
Well, Lillee, we're so happy that you're here. Natalee, we're happy that you're here. It's another very special episode because we're talking about theater.
Yes, the theater, absolutely.
And Lillee, you're the star of a production of Matilda.
Yes.
How'd you get the part?
Well, so we've been
Hard
working
work,
on
right?
it for we've been working on it for 3 years, and I was 6 when I started rehearsing all these lines. And
Oh my gosh.
I remember I was on this Zoom meeting 3 years ago.
So this was during the lockdown, right?
Yes.
All right, well, let's back up a little bit. Now, Natalee, I've known you for quite some time because you've been involved with the Holston Show Choir.
Yes.
And you know me, I'll, anywhere there's an open microphone, I'll go MC something.
Absolutely.
I mean, as long as they're paying me. But so I have had the pleasure of introducing your group. I mean, it seems like it was way before you were in it.
We've been at it for about 15 years.
Yeah.
And I know we've seen each other at the Turkey Creek
That's
tree
right.
lighting.
The Nativity Pageant.
Nativity Pageant,
I didn't
that's
introduce you at that, but I was up on the other side of the arena to be one of the character voices.
Oh, nice, yes.
So you may not know that it was me as the voice of Isaiah.
You know, I don't think that I knew that, but that's really cool now. I know.
So they give me, so anyway, you guys were the opening act. I hope
Yes.
you'll do it again.
Yes, I do.
Because
We love
that
that.
is a terrific thing where as the Nativity Pageant crowd is filtering in for about 20 minutes, they have musicians
Yes.
perform, and you guys were there.
Yes.
And I'm up there taking all my Ludens and getting my voice ready so I can play the deep voice of Isaiah, the high voice of the shepherd boy.
Oh, wow, Shepherd Boy.
The medium voice
Wow.
of Archangel Gabriel, kind of all over the place.
Yes.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you guys have done the Holston Show Choir.
Yes, we have.
Holston is a river. No, I mean a neighborhood.
Yes.
Holston is a...
Holston Hills, the Holston Hills community, yes. And it's been a really unique opportunity for us that
I think my friend Ann lives over there. Ann
Okay.
McKinney, I think. Anyway, I'm sorry. Carry on.
Yeah. Well, so it's a really unique district because we've got kids that come from that Holston Hills community. We've got kids that are almost in Gibbs, Coreyton area.
So you work for Knox County Schools?
I do, yes,
Okay.
I do. Yeah,
All right.
I'm a music teacher at Holston. I do chorus and I do general music. And then I also direct the show choir, which we have a little bit of time during the school day that we meet, but then we meet a lot on the weekends too.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
It's an activity. It's
Yes.
like like a sport, really.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or like the kids who do Scholars Bowl in high school,
Yes.
and then they come over and get to be on TV
Right,
with me.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this is different, though, because it started as a Holston Show Choir production.
Yes.
And you started working on it when you were just a little thing.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know, I hate to say it's a silver lining that you've had more time to reimagine how you were doing it.
It's funny that we were talking about this last night. I said, we've had 3 years to kind of think through this and work through it all. But incredibly, things happen and life happens. And we've had about 8 weeks to actually rehearse the show because you don't get the scripts and such with your licensing and so forth and so on. So we've thought about a lot of things, but I don't think the rubber hasn't met the road until the last 8 weeks. And it's like I always joke about this because you look at people who are on Broadway or do, regional theater or things like that. It doesn't matter at what level you are.
Yeah.
You still are in that fury in the last, and we start our official tech week on Friday. And so I think that's where we are right
And
now.
that
We're
would
in
be-
the throes of all of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if the shows are on July 7th, 8th,
Yes,
and 9th,
yes.
that means tech starts on July 2,
Well, we're actually
Or
starting it
June-
on Friday.
which is June 30th.
Yeah.
Okay.
But lighting moved in yesterday. Sound has started to move in. So all of those huge elements,
Oh my
the
gosh.
sets in place,
So in theater, they call it Heck Week.
Yes. Lillee knows all about that. Yeah, she's had to live through a few herself. Absolutely.
All right, so Lillee, you've been singing. Now, I've seen you perform, so I know you're good. So I don't know, it's not, it's not a mystery to me, but explain to me, obviously you want to be like your mom, but you also I know it's fun. I like doing it too. Why do you like it?
Well, so I'm an only child, and so I don't really have brothers and sisters to even talk to or anything.
I got that from the words only child. But
I really like doing it with my friends because I don't get to see them a lot because I'm at my house sometimes, and then when I'm at dance, I love getting to be there because I get to do it with my friends.
Yeah, and you're working toward a common goal to create a dance routine or to create a musical performance. Oh, I know, the camaraderie that in theater, you end up, And I hope you continue doing this for a long time, because you'll find that you make these fast friends. And then it's weird because at the end, it's like graduation, and then you don't see them again,
right,
unless you're lucky enough to get cast in another show with somebody that you know.
And then I feel like it's like you pick up where you left off, you know?
I mean,
it's amazing. I feel the same way. We can go years and not see people, and then all of a sudden, we went to see a production of Hello Dolly this past weekend, and it was Encore.
Encore from Morristown, but they did it in Jefferson County.
In Dandridge. And it was so cool because I hadn't seen a lot of these people in a couple of years. And I mean, just to walk back in that door and just to feel the embrace, you are right. Theater is the community, and it just brings everybody together.
So I went to see Chorus Line. I don't know if I told you this. But I saw you and Daniel Lineberger as the leads in the Chorus Line show. But I had that same experience where my wife and I went to see Beauty and the Beast, which was done by, I think it's called the Tennessee Valley Players.
Yes, Tennessee Valley Players.
And there's this one girl, she's one of the Gaston's silly girls.
Yes.
And I'm looking at her going, I've seen her before. I know who that is.
Danny Tower, yes.
She was the,
Chorus Line.
had a big part in Chorus Line as the woman from Puerto Rico, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's who it is, Danny?
Danny Tower, yes.
Well, hello, Danny.
Yeah, we love her.
I recognized you in Beauty and the Beast.
That's right. We got to give hugs when we got to see. We saw that show as well. We really do try to go and see all the community theater.
Oh, great.
It's great for her. We want her to grow up that way and loving the arts. I mean, I feel like you don't know anything else, do you?
My music teacher, Mr. Hopper, he's also in some of those shows.
He was in Something Rotten last year with TVP.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
And who did he play?
He was
Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And he was the soloist at the Nativity Pageant, so it all comes back around. And he's great. Hello, Dan.
Yeah.
Is it his name?
His name is Brett.
Brett Hopper. I saw you. I didn't even talk to you. You don't know this. But I will tell you that last year it so happened that my eldest grandson, who is now 9, was in town in June. This year he's coming in July.
Okay.
And we took him to see Something Rotten, which I thought, fine.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize how good he is, how he's got an ear for music.
Oh, great.
And how he would memorize the song with the most offensive words.
Well,
I mean, he had it down by intermission. He already knew it. And the whole ride home, and then the whole 8-hour or 9-hour ride home to Northern Virginia. I'm trying to think of, God, Artie, we got to rewrite these lyrics. You can't sing this to your family. Your younger brothers can't know that, you hate the man is a genius. We can't. We got to change that part.
You know exactly what he's talking about. We love that show, though. Oh, it's so good.
It is so good.
So
and that's so much of the fun of all of that. So we're talking about Matilda, which is going to be on July 7th and 8th at night, that's a Friday, Saturday.
Yes.
And then Sunday, July 9th.
Correct.
And it's going to be at Holston Middle School.
Yes.
How is that because you were saying that it's unusual to do a show at a middle school?
Yes.
Because
we're really fortunate in the fact that a lot of middle schools in our area don't have an auditorium, and Holston was a high school once upon a time, and so we thank you for all of our alumni, our Holston Warriors that come back and support so many things at our school, but we are really privileged to have an auditorium and to be able to do productions like this, because unless you were a converted high school, for a lot of these middle schools, they don't have this space. And
I know a lot of people who converted, but not a lot of high schools.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of them do have to do it in their gyms. Bring in staging and lighting and that kind of thing.
Well, I guess that's why when now the Catholic high school has opened its auditorium, outside groups are ready to rent it from them.
Right,
and that's not. And this Tennessee Valley Players was not the first nor the last to rent, because you're like, why am I at Catholic high school? They're closed. Right. No, you're seeing an outside group that has rented has four-walled it.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So you've got your own space for that.
We do, and one thing that we don't really have a great setup for is lighting. It's an older building, so we bring in
Unfortunately, it's a very dark show.
It is. It is, but I will say technically this is probably the biggest thing that we've ever done.
Oh, I bet.
Lighting has been coming in the last couple of days, and oh my word, we have a lighting designer, David Horton. David is a Disney Imagineer, has done things like that. So he's from Morristown. We worked with David. We worked with them on Chorus Line.
Oh, that's fantastic.
He's done several encore shows, and he's amazing. We love David so much, and so it's a real honor, I think, to collaborate with so many wonderful artists. Daniel is choreographing the show. Daniel Lineberger is choreographing.
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah, and also helping direct a little bit. So I mean, it's just fun to collaborate.
Well, when you dig down, it is amazing. I think there was a survey, a national survey, maybe it was the USA Today or something, talking about the art scene, and Knoxville came in 4th in the country, which is huge because it made the top 10 list, and it was only a top 10 list.
Wow.
But you think about it, I think the UT theater program was rated one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
You've got all these folks who have experience through there, and that trickles through the community. Because I mean, we were talking about Laura Beth Wells. She and Lillian were here, and you're friends with them, obviously.
Yeah.
So here's someone who has got Broadway experience, and she's teaching kids at the Children's Theater. She's teaching kids at UT. She's spreading her experience and knowledge all over the place, and you can see the fruit of that labor.
It was fun. I got to see her in Spider-Man. And
on Broadway.
On Broadway, and it was not too long after that she announced she was pregnant and it was going to take a little sabbatical from the show, and we have kind of sort of followed each other all these years. It was funny, like the first time I ever saw Laura Beth, she was in high school at Farragut, and was doing Hello Dolly, which was my first experience with that show, and of course we just saw it again this week, and we love that show so much. But she was phenomenal, and I told her, I've never forgotten this to this day, her wig was incredible. I mean, she was wonderful. I was like, dang, your wig was so good in that show. But yeah, we got to meet for the first time while she was doing the show at Spider-Man, and kind of have kept up all these years. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah. She did a bunch of those performances while pregnant with Lillee.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And in one of the characters, they had to build her a special maternity costume.
Yeah, I remember.
And this came up because, and the reason I said this is she's been here multiple times to do the podcast, but I also had her on my PBS show Up Close, which will be on, I think they're going to show that one at the end of July.
Okay.
And one of the pictures that she sent for that interview was her in the maternity costume backstage at Spider-Man.
Well, it's cool. I mean, the University of Tennessee has done awesome things. I'm actually a UT grad too. I was a Grace Moore scholar. So my upbringing was really more in the classical side, but theater has always been my love.
Yeah.
Did lots of opera at UT and with Carol Freeman, and I mean, I'd done a lot I grew up doing show choir, so I think that's where my love began for all of this. But yeah, like through the years, just sort of, I have really enjoyed being on the other side of the table. And this is kind of the first time I've sort of had to sit on both sides of the table because I'm also in this show.
Yeah, and you play the evil Mrs. Wormwood, if I'm not mistaken.
I do.
I was explaining to my grandson Artie. Now, here's my experience with Matilda. Is Artie and I watched it on Netflix.
Yeah.
Period. The end. That's all I got.
Okay.
I've seen it one time on Netflix, and I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because
so good.
in my head, I couldn't keep straight Matilda and Madeline. I couldn't remember which was which.
Yeah.
Do you know Madeline?
You've seen. Well, you guys did that for your recital one year.
Yeah, that's like a little girl in French with the hat. No,
yeah,
it's not completely different.
Totally different story.
I was so young when I did that.
Yeah, you were like 5, maybe. Yeah, she was in the ballet.
But you understand when we talk about Roald Dahl, right? Yeah. He's got a unique outlook on life and a unique sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I mean, think of the great shows that he's created, or these books he's written, from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach.
Right.
And of course Matilda. So there's weird. They're all weird.
Yeah.
But great weird.
Yeah.
He was married to Patricia Neal.
Yeah, it's so funny.
She's from Knoxville. Patricia Neal is famous Knoxvillian.
Well, here's what's really cool. I did not learn that until this past Mother's Day, and my grandmother just passed away just a few weeks ago, and that was the last time that I saw her was on Mother's Day, and I really thought she was joking.
And her dying words to you were, Patricia Neal was married to Roald Dahl. Good night.
I really thought she was joking. I thought, because she's older, she was 87, and I thought to myself, she's just making this up. And then I go and Google it. Lo and behold, she was correct. She was just sitting in the chair, and she says, well, Roald Dahl was married to Patricia Neal. I'm like, no, I don't think that. Yeah,
she moved to England and the whole bit.
Yeah. Well, we were watching the other day. Remember that little show that we watched about Roald Dahl?
Yeah.
And tell a little bit about how he wrote his shed.
Well, so there was this shed that he used to walk to.
Yeah.
And he would close all the windows and close all the doors, and then he would just start writing. And then they said he would be in there for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Probably completely lost in his imagination, creating these fantastical worlds.
Yeah.
Let's go through, since we're talking about Matilda with the Holston Show Choir, and really more of the community.
Yes.
What would you call it because beyond the show choir, it's the Holston...
So,
do you have a name for your theater troupe yet?
No, we just kind of left it. A lot of our branding had been with the Holston Show Choir, so it's been easier to advertise that way.
Okay.
But we got a grant through the Tennessee Arts Commission.
Nice.
So that's really what's fueled the biggest part of this fire that we've had, and it's really turned into the Knoxville community. We do have a lot. Knox County Schools is kind of restructured in the last year or so, and we have a lot of Region 5 kids. So we've got kids from Austin East, kids from Holston, kids from Central High School, Beaumont. But then we got kids Elkins, Shenandoah, and lots of Knox County schools that are represented. We even have one from Hardin Valley.
When you say people from Shenandoah, do they play the senior citizens?
No, this is like Shenandoah Elementary School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I only knew of it as a retirement home. I didn't know there was a Shenandoah Elementary School.
But that's Brett Hopper is her music teacher at Shenandoah.
Oh, outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But it's kind of turned into this community sort of affair. And then we have also educators that are involved in this. So our principal, Katie Lutton, at Holston plays Miss Honey.
Oh, and she's good, right?
She's wonderful.
All right, let's go through the plot, because we have to explain, as I was trying to explain to my grandson, that your real-life mother plays your evil mother in the show.
Hopefully I'm not that mean in real life.
So the plot is, help me out, because like I said, I've only seen it the one time.
It's Genius Child here.
Yeah.
And you want to
Based
talk...
on a true story?
It's not a true story because, spoiler alert, Matilda moves things with her eyes.
she's got
a little bit of telekinesis going.
Yeah. And we've kind of gotten to that place in rehearsals where after she kind of, this is definitely a spoiler alert, she winds up with Miss Honey. Parents are horrible people, don't pay any attention to her, basically they just want to watch the television all the time, and she's the one reading the books. She loves to go to the library, loves to hang out with Miss Honey.
And Miss Phelps.
The library.
Well, I think when you're going into a musical, it often helps to have the plot, like an opera. You should read the libretto ahead of time and know where the story's going, because then you can appreciate the cleverness of the songs all the more,
Yeah. Oh, and the music for this show is incredible.
Yeah, it's really good. Who heard it?
Tim Minchin, who is a comedian. He's British, and the songs we kind of were watching the other day, a little thing that was on YouTube about how he kind of crafted all of these songs, which is really incredible. He went in, it's kind of the same way Roald Dahl did, sort of hold himself up and wrote all these songs in a very short amount of time.
Oh, fantastic.
And most of them wound up in the show. A lot of people when they go on these writing sprees, they don't often use everything.
Well, I mean, going back to Beauty and the Beast for a second, there was a song called Human Again that got cut from the cartoon.
Right.
And then, when they realized they wanted to put it on a stage version of the cartoon's too short.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Yeah.
we need to pad this out. We need to stretch.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. Happens so very
I didn't feel like there was any filler in Matilda because there's so much story.
Well, and really, to be honest, the songs really do kind of advance the plot.
That's the whole point of that's what makes it a musical.
Yeah, and the pacing is so quick in the show. I mean, I think that's the thing that we've really had a challenge on, is that it's
these transitions.
The transitions are crazy. And I think it was written in such a way that they're abrupt. You're kind of it's sort of like you're in the middle of the chapter and someone shut the book and you move somewhere else.
Exactly.
The tableau just moves fast.
Exactly. They showed that in the Netflix film too.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, Matilda is a prodigy. She's a genius.
Yes.
But she ends up at this school that's like a prison.
Yeah.
Where the children are treated horribly by the headmistress. What's her name?
Agatha. Miss Trunchbull. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Now, when you watch the Netflix version, and I recommend that you do, if you just want to have a fun game, don't look at the credits and don't see who plays what. And then try to figure out for 2 hours who's playing Trunchbull, and you probably won't. You'll just think, man, this is a brilliant actress. Who is this person? I can only imagine she should get an Oscar or a Tony or something. She's
won
that
a few
good.
of those already, hasn't she? Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Emma Thompson, and I mean, we were watching something that was talking about just the transformation physically that she had to go through.
My wife didn't believe me when I told her. I said, "You got to watch this because Emma Thompson plays Trunchbull." She's like, "That's impossible."
Yeah,
because she had seen. There's another movie of Matilda.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the older one, and
version.
What's it called?
2013 one?
Yeah, but it's not a musical,
no,
right?
Yeah, the 96 one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
with Danny DeVito
and the little girl who played Matilda in that, her name is Mara Wilson.
Yes.
And we knew her from when we lived out in Burbank.
How cool.
But not that well. I mean, just my kids took a swim lesson at Parks and Rec for and then Mara's in their class. So for multiple weeks, they took swim lessons with Mara Wilson, and we're like,
that's cool.
Oh yeah, she's that actress from Mrs. whatever she was in at that point, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes.
But then she went on to be in Matilda also. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a different feeling altogether because that story was set in America.
I didn't see it. My kids saw it, and now I get it.
It is a very different feel altogether because the stage show, I mean, it started on the West End and moved to Broadway and is still actually running on the West End.
Is the book set in England also?
Yes.
Because it's got that, obviously with the headmistress and the whole idea of a boarding school.
Right.
That's like a prison with they take stuff out of prison movies Because you've got, like the solitary confinement or the hole.
Chokey, right?
Is that what it's called?
It's called Chokey for us, yeah.
Yes, well, my wife and I went and did the tour of Brushy Mountain.
Yes.
And they have a hole that they put the especially bad prisoners in. It's like Chokey.
With the spikes and the nails in the wood, right?
Oh my gosh. That's a line from the show.
It is,
Yes.
yeah.
So what do you get to sing?
So I sang Naughty, which is like the second.
Yeah, it's early in the first act.
Is that the big production number that starts
It's
it?
just
or
her.
Just you?
It's just her. Tell them what
Fantastic.
happens, like what you do.
What I do is, I want to get revenge on my parents. But, so I finally find this book, which we're going to paint, and it's going to say How to Dye Your Dad's Hair Green. And so I pick it up, and I go to the index of it, and I start looking at it. And then I go down to the sink, and I start mixing platinum blonde hair dye and oil of violet hair tonic. And then it finally dyes my dad's hair green.
And he wears a hat for most of the show, right?
To cover up his green hair.
Well, I get revenge a second time, so he rips up my book at some point. And so I'm like, well, I want to do something else. So I super glue his hat to his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun show. That's why no wonder the kids like it.
Yeah.
And do you do any horrible things to your mom over here, Mrs. Wormwood? I don't recall anything too bad.
No, just really Dad. But Dad's,
And who plays
Dad's
Dad?
worse.
It's actually our band director, Brad Beeler.
Yeah.
And Brad's wonderful. He's never really done anything like this, but man, he's fantastic.
Oh, that's good.
He's so good. Man, the boy
Yes.
can sing. He's got a big number at the top of the first act called Telly. All I know I learned from Telly.
Second act.
Sorry, when I say first act,
Yeah.
top of the second act. All I know I learned from Telly, because he just doesn't believe in the books and such. I mean, she always wants to tell stories, and the family is just like, all we want to do is watch TV.
Yeah.
And when they show, go ahead.
And the fun thing about that song is, so every single night he gets called on a different person out in the audience.
Yeah, so beware. If you come to the show, you may get called
Yes.
out if you like to
Oh,
read.
that's good.
Yeah.
Now, when they show clips of it, like on, when you go to Netflix and it's the one thing they show at the beginning,
Yeah.
it's usually the big number where everyone in their uniforms is marching down the hall and all the kids are singing. What is that one?
Is that the school song?
That's Revolting.
Oh, wait.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Revolting Children.
That's at the end.
Yeah, but that for,
I mean,
for the
I'm
teaser.
saying they show that.
Oh, wait. I haven't seen that teaser, but
Yeah.
Well, you know the song.
Yeah.
I watched all
Oh,
the teasers. So.
you know all about the song. Well, we've been
Yeah.
rehearsing it this week. So, yeah,
boy.
it's going to be a big number, too. A very big number. We got kids.
We just learned it yesterday.
So what's involved if you're a mom or a dad and you've got a kid like Lillee?
Yeah.
What's involved? You have to do extra voice lessons? Do you have to do extra dance lessons? I mean, is it because you want to, not because you have to?
Yeah,
but-
it's funny. Like when I was pregnant with her, I remember thinking, I really hope she has a love for the arts and music, and she does. I mean, the kid came out singing. When the doctor came in and had
Yeah, you
just
probably put the show speakers the Bluetooth speaker on
I
your
did.
tummy and with the show tunes
I
going.
did
Right?
that and bluegrass. She really loved. She would move even more to bluegrass. But yeah, she's always had this great sense of rhythm. And when the doctor came in after he checked her out the first time, Dr. Joe Black, he said, well, she's got a set of lungs on her. She's going to be a singer. And I didn't know us from Adam, so it was really funny. That's what he said. But no, Lily's always loved to sing. She's always loved to dance. She's a dancer at Angela Floyd Studios, dances 6 days a week. And tell him where you have your voice lessons typically. Where are we usually? In the car.
Yeah.
She's
so-
usually in the backseat of the car. and I-
So you're teaching her
yeah.
because that's your
I
job
gotta-
anyway. Yeah.
drop your jaw, breathe there, the crescendo a little more there. So
Yeah.
but the acting side of it, she's just, other than the shows she's done, but she did take a few little lessons when we were on lockdown. Yeah, she, a place in Atlanta called Orbit. She did some acting lessons with them.
And I also worked with Beth Ann.
Oh yeah, that's right, you did.
I think it's so analogous to the kids who really are into swimming, so they start doing club swimming and they get extra coaching.
Yeah.
Or tennis, or pick a sport. Obviously with football, baseball, the big ones.
Yeah.
There's extra workshops and summer camps and all of those things.
Yeah.
And you see it in the sports world all the time.
Yeah.
But you know what? The football mom the football dad doesn't get the rep of the stage mom.
Hopefully I never do. I'll tell you, we were discussing this the other day. She's got a pretty wonderful stage dad. It's funny because I kind of have to split my time. I still have this show choir group and a lot of times she's already at the dance studio before I'm ever even out of school.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of times my parents or my husband who is getting her to all the places she needs to go.
Oh, fantastic. That's so great.
They kind of conned me into, there was a weekend that they were supposed to be on a dance competition, and I was already booked up with a rehearsal, and I said, we're just not going to participate in that. And she comes home one night, oh yeah, me and Dad talked about this. I think we're going to just go ourselves. And I was like, are you kidding me? Who's going to do your hair? Who's going to do your makeup? Oh, I'll figure it out, Mom. Like, it's not a big deal.
Sophia.
Yeah. Like, her dance sister, good old Sophia, helped us out.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That is
yeah,
great.
But,
so what, Angela Floyd, what kind of dance do they do? Everything?
Yes.
Jazz, chat, ballet, hip hop, lyrical.
Of those, which do you prefer?
So I didn't know this until I was like 7 that I really, really like tap.
Tap.
Really good at it.
Which
too.
goes well with the musical theater because you can do anything goes.
Yes.
You can do.
That's what I did my first year. I tapped.
I've got one tap reference, so that's. And she's like, oh, of course I already know that one.
She's an old soul. You always kind of have been. Likes the old musicals. But tell him about what you made this year. That's a big deal for Angela Floyd. What's their kind of claim to fame? Their kick line.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they would now, granted, you would come to the tree lighting ceremony
Right.
to sing with Holston,
Right.
and then you'd leave, and I'd bring on the Angela Floyd dancers because they would do the big Rockette style
Right.
kick line. And you made that this year?
Yes.
Yes.
Because you
so-
have to. I mean, you have to be a certain height. You have to be. Your foot has to get up to your eyeball.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it was not last year, but the year before, our apprentice kick line came, and I was on that.
That's the AKL we call that.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. But then this year, Miss Angel, they had their auditions, and she brought in a group of judges. And,
Oh, that's great.
And Lily's going to be on the big kick line this year. So
Congratulations.
we're cautiously optimistic. I'm nervous, but I know she'll work hard. She
Well,
always does.
I know a lot of women who went to do ballet because, believe it or not, I was involved in the Nutcracker for many years in Oak Ridge.
yeah.
And on those tree lighting ceremonies that I would MC, it would usually be during Tech Week of the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
So I'd be there doing the MC work, keeping an eye on the clock, knowing that I had to go.
Yeah.
But then there were like 3 girls from Angela Floyd who were up there doing the tap and the kick line, and they'd wave at me because they knew that I was the grandpa in Nutcracker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would see them an hour later, and they'd be completely transformed into ballet dancers on what do you call those? Point shoes.
Point shoes,
Yes.
Yeah, to do whatever.
yeah.
I think it was like Leia, she was in that.
Yes, I
Leia
remember
Rail,
her.
yeah.
I remember her, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think
What's Peyton's
Madison.
sister? Madison. Sandage, yeah. Oh, yeah, you probably know a lot of these girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love it.
Oh,
yeah.
that's outstanding.
Yeah, and a lot of them are now majoring in dance in college.
Good.
They'll come in the summer times. A couple of them are on tour in Italy dancing, but they come in and they really do give back, which is nice. Like Lily's taken a couple of privates from some of them, and yeah.
That's
and then
fantastic.
Yeah.
Madison's staying here right now because sometimes she'll usually take Peyton to dance. so-
Yeah, it's helping out younger sister. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So I was leaning toward ballet. I knew more about ballet, but I'll have to admit I cannot dance. I just have to confess to you that my job in the show was not to dance. My job, when they asked me to do it, this woman named Heather Tang Vincent called up and she says, "Hey Frank, we got a part in the Nutcracker. It's for an old man who dances poorly, gets drunk, and falls down."
He said, "Sign me up."
We thought of you. Yeah. Well, typecasting. All right, I can do it. Well, anyhow, the point for today, of course, is to talk about you as Matilda, you as Mrs. Wormwood, with the Holston Hills Show Choir at Holston Hills Middle School, which is somewhere on the east side?
Yeah, we're just right off of Rutledge Pike.
Okay.
And if you come, like, Chilhowee Elementary School, intermediate school is just right down the hill from us. You cross and you're into the Holston Hills community, just right across
Outstanding.
Asheville Highway. Yeah.
Well, you can, of course, find all that information. I'll put it in the show notes for this episode and follow on social media so you can keep up and be at one of the performances, July 7, 8, and 9. 7 and 8 are night times, and 9 is a matinee. And then you can collapse and relax.
Yeah.
Sort of, right?
Well, on July 10th, I have to go to the orthodontist, so.
She already knows what the next day is.
It's just, I'm going to be like, after that day, I'm just going to collapse.
Is it just a checkup? Because your teeth look fine to me. I'm no doctor.
This is braces round 2, probably.
Oh, and you don't want to wear them during the show.
Yeah, well, and we did, she had the first top 4 corrected, and now it's time to to get the rest of them all straightened out.
Oh,
It's
the
part of
pain.
growing, right?
Oh, I had them. I know.
All the
I'm
growing
with you.
pains.
I'm with you. Well, break a leg. And you too, all of you, break all the legs.
Thank you.
And I'm excited for the folks who are in the show. Congratulations to everybody for being in it. And I hope this is the first of many. I think you've stumbled into this, starting it just within your own sphere of Holston and realizing this show is bigger. And therefore, you bringing in, you got to bring in old guys to play, your dad and you got to bring in a Trunchbull. Who's Trunchbull?
Yes, Sydney Allen. She's actually one of our alumni and has done lots of theater in the
area.
area.
Is she mean enough?
Oh, yeah, listen. In real life, no, she's precious,
so
but she's pretty she's pretty awesome, isn't she? Yeah.
Does she have to pick you up and twirl you like a what do you call it, a hammer and a
She doesn't
track
twirl
and field?
you.
She does it to Naomi, our Amanda Thripp.
Yeah.
And so I remember that one night we were like doing that scene, and Naomi was like, I'm ready, but at the same time I'm scared.
Does she have to get thrown into something?
She gets thrown on a crash mat. So
Yeah, good.
yeah, that's safe for her.
Well, I remember. Now you would know in the opera Tosca.
Yes.
The lead character has to jump off the tower,
Right.
and there's a big production when you're making Tosca. You got to make sure you got a good crash mat to catch
right.
your diva.
That's right. We don't want anybody getting hurt, do we?
Yeah.
During the Smell of Rebellion, so there's this one part where it's supposed to be like they're falling into the mud and all that stuff, which they did in the movie. And so we have to like somersault onto a crash mat or like fall onto a crash mat.
So it helps that you have dancers in the show.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a very physical show, and I think we've figured that out kind of as we've been working through this. That there's a lot of, because Trunchbull is such a horrible human being. There's a lot of, having to learn that like stage combat side and how to make all those things work. That's been a whole lesson in teaching these kids what to do. And it's been a lot of work with the kids themselves. And a lot of shows, the ensemble isn't often highlighted quite as much as this show is. But I feel like every rehearsal, that's who we're calling. We have maybe 5 or 6 adults in the show, and everybody else is 18 or under.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Which is it's pretty awesome.
Like every time I look at the rehearsal schedule, it's always like kids and teen ensemble. I was like, okay, we're all going to be called now.
You've been at rehearsal a whole lot lately.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you're Matilda.
Yes.
So what are you going to do, Lillee?
Yeah.
That's congratulations. Very happy for you. And Natalee, it's a delight to have you here. I'm glad
Thank you.
that you called up and said, "Hey, what do you want to talk about?" And then I've got a suggestion. How about Matilda?
Yeah, we love to chat. This show's been amazing.
Good.
It's been a good experience.
All right. Well, congratulations again. Holston Hills Show Choir, July 7, 8, and 9. Don't miss out on Matilda. How much are the tickets? They're
20 for adults and then 15 for students.
2-0 for adults?
2-0.
Oh, that's a good price.
Yeah, it's a steal.
Yeah, usually they're 25 and up around here.
And
that's
then 15 for students and seniors.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great. I'm old, by the way. I like to point that out. Point out.
You are not, right? You're not.
This is the Frank and Friends Show. My name is Frank Murphy.
Natalee Elkins.
And Lillee Elkins.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you again next time.